Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Pittsburgh Steelers waiting to see what Justin Fields decides in free agency. The Pittsburgh Steelers still need a quarterback. Their top option is Justin Fields, but officially, on Sunday night, Jeremy Fowler of ESPN stated that Fields plans to test the market and make an informed decision by that point. The New York Jets remain the most interested team in Fields as they lurk and try to recruit him to be their quarterback alongside veteran Tyrod Taylor. Both sides have discussed a reunion and have been open to it, but Fields wants to test the market to truly see how teams view him and make an informed decision. The Jets' interest has percolated since before the combine, Fowler wrote. Fields not only wants to see what a starting job would look like everywhere, but the type of money and opportunity they offer. If he goes to the Jets, he can play with one of his old friends from Ohio State, Garrett Wilson. However, in a Steelers return, he would return to an even stronger offense after the team traded for DK Metcalf. It could also be a situation where Fields would like to come back but will test the market to see how the league views him and then return to the Steelers to match an offer. Either way, the Steelers have started considering other options outside of Fields and even Russell Wilson. They plan to throw an offer Sam Darnold's way, and meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers could be a sneaky option if things fall through with the New York Giants. DK Metcalf's massive contract with Steelers gives T. Higgins new bargaining chip. The Pittsburgh Steelers made a major splash ahead of free agency by trading for star wide receiver DK Metcalf and then immediately signing him to a massive 5-year, $150 million contract extension. This is bad news for the Cincinnati Bengals for a couple of reasons. The first being that this is a major upgrade for the Steelers. Pittsburgh desperately needed some big play weapons on offense, and they got one of the biggest in Metcalf. As a division rival, the Bengals will now have to worry about playing against Metcalf and the Steelers twice a season for the foreseeable future. Cincinnati's secondary has been susceptible as of late, and Metcalf will be sure to test it. One big play from Metcalf could alter the course of a contest. Metcalf's contract is also rough news for Cincinnati because it will likely complicate the organization's contract talks with T. Higgins. The Bengals designated Higgins as a franchise player with the stated intention of signing him to a long-term deal. Higgins has added leverage at the negotiating table. Higgins is a year younger than Metcalf, and the two are comparable players. Metcalf has better career counting stats, but he has one more season under his belt, and he's largely operated as a WR1 throughout his career, while Higgins has been a WR2 in Cincinnati over the past 4 seasons. Last season, Metcalf caught 66 passes for 992 yards and 5 touchdowns. Higgins had 73 receptions for 911 yards and 10 touchdowns. So, he had more catches and twice as many touchdowns as Metcalf, despite playing in 3 fewer games. Higgins will now be able to point to the commitment that the division rival Steelers made to a new wide receiver, and say that he wants something similar. If Higgins was Cincinnati's top priority at the position, it would be easier. But, keep in mind that the team also needs to negotiate a massive new extension with Ja'Marr Chase, which is expected to be the largest contract for a receiver in NFL history. The Bengals have publicly stated that they're prepared to make Chase the highest-paid non-QB in league history. So, after accounting for an enormous extension for Chase, one has to wonder how much the organization will be able or willing to spend on Higgins. It's the exact reason why many assumed that 2024 would be Higgins' final season in Cincinnati. Metcalf's new extension certainly doesn't make things any easier for the organization. Does it make a potential trade involving Higgins more likely? Perhaps. First call, Steelers will reportedly offer Sam Darnold a contract, Marc-Andre Fleury's post-game meeting with ex-teammates. Monday's first call has news of a Pittsburgh Steelers contract offer to a free agent quarterback. The team's former longtime quarterback loves the club's new trade acquisition. We have behind-the-scenes footage of Marc-Andre Fleury's meet and greet with his former teammates in Minnesota. Alex Ovechkin scored again, as did some former Penguins that have switched teams. Viking call: the Steelers are expected to make a contractual offer to Minnesota Vikings quarterback Sam Darnold. That's according to The Athletic's Diana Rossini. She adds that Seattle is the perceived front-runner to land the free agent Pro Bowler. However, the Steelers just traded for one of the Seahawks' top wide receivers in DK Metcalf. The NFL's legal tampering period begins at noon Monday. Darnold is set to hit the open market on Wednesday after his best season as a pro. The former number 3 overall draft pick, 2018, went 14-3 as a starter for the Vikings this season. He posted 4,319 yards, 5th in the NFL, 35 touchdowns, 5th, and a passer rating of 102.5, 6th. Both of the Steelers' quarterbacks from last year, Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, are also hitting free agency. Big Ben likes the big trade. Ben Roethlisberger appears to be a fan of the Steelers' acquisition of Metcalf. The former Steelers quarterback posted a video on his football and Instagram directed at Mike Tomlin. In it, he joked that he'd like to come out of retirement to throw to Metcalf, George Pickens, and Pat Freiermuth. "Coach T, are you kidding me?" Roethlisberger said. DK Metcalf on one side, GP on the other. Muth working the middle. "I might need to throw my hat in the ring. If you're looking for a guy, I might still have a couple throws in me." Well, if Darnold goes to Seattle, and Fields and Wilson go elsewhere too, Tomlin may take up Roethlisberger on his offer. Wild reunion: the Penguins beat the Minnesota Wild 3-1 on Sunday. Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin both scored on former teammate Marc-Andre Fleury. The Flower is expected to retire at the end of the year. So this is likely the last time those three and defenseman Chris Letang will all be on the same ice together. After the contest, the Penguins posted a video of Fleury meeting up with Malkin and Crosby. Crosby's second goal of the night came on an empty netter. He is now up to 21 goals. That's 17 years featuring 20 goals or more for Crosby. Fleury's start was the 1,015th of his career. That breaks a tie with Roberto Luongo for second most in league history. Martin Brodeur has the record at 1,251. Meanwhile, with the win, Pens coach Mike Sullivan is the 14th head coach in NHL history, and the first American-born head coach to win 400 games with one organization. He also had 70 victories with the Boston Bruins. And you, fan? What do you think about Sam Darnold's situation? Write to us in the comments.